in Montreux, in Switzerland. What is there to do? Well, one can watch the trains pass, enjoy the mountain view, or simply hop on one of these trains that take you to Caux. But before reaching the beautiful setting of Montreux and Lake Geneva, we had to take the plane from Greece. It is only a short 3-hour flight from Athens. Arrival at the Geneva airport, and after a 1.5 train ride along the coast of Lake Geneva, we slowly approach our destination in Caux. But this is a trip not only to discover the trust and integrity in the Global Economy Conference, but also it is a musical trip, as I will be playing the 10-year anniversary song. Mohan Aguantas is the Vice President of Initiatives of Change. He will introduce us to the concept of TIGE.
I live in Australia. I feel that we are living in an age of disruptive change. And TIGE, Trust and Integrity in the Global Economy program, which we have been working on for the last several years, is an attempt to create a space to bring thought leaders, business leaders, young professionals, and people from other backgrounds to a conversation about what is the future of our society and the future of our economy.
Welcome everyone to Trust and Integrity in the Global Economy. It's a humbling experience to be part of this living organism, because as a team we do not come into an empty conference center, but we come and adjust into a living community which is evolving together with us. And this is the experience that we all have as conference teams and participants.
What has trust and integrity meant to you in your life and work?
Trust and integrity, I think for me has meant having an objective to engage with a generation of young professionals and a generation of young people who are passionate about the world that they're going to live in, and for them to have an opportunity to and a platform to engage with their peer group and to bring like-minded people to have a conversation. And I think Trust and Integrity in the Global Economy Conference has been running for 10 years, and it has, in a sense, proven that this objective actually works, because there is more than 50% of the people attending these conferences are under 40.
My name is Victoria. I work for the communications team at TIGE. I really enjoy being here because I think it's a very unique place in that people are willing to talk both about their personal stories and their professional careers. And there's a sense that here everyone is willing to connect with everybody else, no matter what their background or how much knowledge they already have about the topic that you're discussing. I think TIGE does make a difference purely because it's providing that space for people at every level of their career and every level of their personal journey to explore subjects together in a way that really very few other environments allow.
I think we are seeing 70 years of stability in Europe and the Western world since the Second World War. And we are seeing that stability starting to look more fragile. my vision is that we now need to look at how we have a global plan to build a better society in those countries where there is significant conflict, upheavals, and social fragmentation. Let's not forget that after the Second World War, Europe was totally destroyed. And the rebuilding of this continent is one of the great achievements of human endeavor. And if that could have been done, there is no reason why we cannot do the same for other regions of the world in Africa, Middle East, and Latin America.
As the proceedings of the TIGE conference continue, more and more speeches, groups and workshops are on the schedule. Lawrence is a hotel industry leader with an extensive working experience. Rishabh, one of the main coordinators of the conference, interviews him and asks him about how he feels about TIGE Co and his work in sustainability.
First of all, I'm delighted to be here. There's no place as beautiful as Co. Whether you're walking just overlooking the lake at the promenade place, or whether you're up in your room looking over the entire lake, just a magnificent setting. It's beautiful. So I'm delighted to be back and delighted to be with like-minded people who want to make a difference and who spend a week here discussing, having workshops on how they can do that. So before I answer the question of what I do, I just want to say how happy I am to be here. My history is real estate. I sat on the executive committee of the Intercontinental Hotel Group, and whilst I was there, I was privileged to be able to create an environmental manual for hotels.
It was actually thanks to this manual, now installed in 5.5 million bedrooms, that hotels have adopted environmentally friendly practices, which also lead, of course, to considerable economies. The key cards that turn the power on and off, the client option for towels not to be washed each night, and many more initiatives actually make a big difference to the environment and to the bottom line. Big hotels take it even further.
And I was in Beijing about 3 months ago, and Accor hotels have agreed to plant 1 tree for every 3 towels not washed. So they're taking what was a kind of negative, they made it positive, and they expect to plant over 100 million trees by 2020, which is a super result.
And while the city's youth mingle with the tourists during the Montreux Jazz Festival, discussions about a better world in terms of ethical business and sustainability are in continuum. Tony Bradley, from the University of Liverpool Hope in the UK, is the director of the Social and Ethical Enterprise Centre, a centre that is trying to change the perception of the often negative opinion of the public towards the world of business.
Really try and do there is encourage new social enterprises, green businesses, ethical businesses to understand more about the models of development that they can engage in, where to source finance, to look at their governance, and then we really research the spread of those sorts of new business models across the United Kingdom space. Trust is something that has to be both learned and earned. One of the things that people find difficult within business communities at this moment in time is there have been so many scandals about financial companies operating in proprietary, and lots of other smaller businesses acting in such a way that the profit motive has driven them away from a relationship at a human level with their communities and with ordinary people. And so for me, trust is about learning, particularly in local communities, how to build relationships in supply chains and in customer markets, so that people begin to recognize that it is possible to do business in a way that feels more human-centered, that feels more related to their ordinary lives. But what we're seeing is that young people, particularly as they start up new entrepreneurial ventures, they want to put trust and integrity right at the heart of their experience. So in my own experience, because we run a program of young people's entrepreneurship, this last year, for example, 100% of all our young entrepreneurs wanted to set up social enterprises, new businesses with a social purpose. That's very, very heartening for the future.
Merel is a perfect example of social entrepreneurship in the younger generation. Originally from the Netherlands, Merel is inventing medical prosthetics used for walking.
I work for Proportion, a Dutch-based social enterprise, and I initiated LagBank, a social enterprise that increases the access to quality prosthetic care in upcoming economies. And we invented a smart technology, innovative technology that creates in an automated way prosthetic sockets. And the socket is a very important part of a prosthesis because it's unique. It's the part that connects the stump, the residual limb of a patient, to the rest of the prosthesis. And it's essential for walking without pain. And in addition to this, we developed a sustainable business model in order to reach out to people in rural areas. Also, I'm a singer in a Portuguese fado ensemble called Palpita. So I combine my both passions.
As you can see, most participants here have many talents, and music is definitely one of them.
For me, trust and integrity should be the core values of every company. We now live, unfortunately, in a world where companies' main target is often making money, whereas social enterprises use money as a means in order to create social impact. That's the benefit of a social enterprise. What I hope for TIGE is that it keeps on nourishing their amazing network of people that work both professionally as well as personally together. And it's a network based on trust and on friendship, and of people that are all engaged in working for a better economy. And I think that's very, very valuable, that combination.
If you remember well, this is also a musical trip. I personally traveled here to play the 10-year anniversary song. A song which was recorded in Athens and is called, of course, the Trust and Integrity Song.
That's good. Wow, just trying to take a kid about the dollar you earn me, yeah.
emailed it to Gauthier, and he made it into a song, and he's actually recorded it, and he's going to play it for the first time to the public. So welcome, Gauthier.
After this brief introduction, I felt the urge to talk about how I perceive ethical business.
What is important at this point to say, in the philosophical standpoint, is the difference of ethos and the difference of being ethical. Ethos is very endogenous, very esoteric. It's an atomic viewpoint. Ethos is the actual personal need to do good, to be fair, to be just, to do good to others. There is no external attributes to that. Having ethos, it means you drive yourself for yourself to create good, common good if you want. So doing ethical business needs each and everyone to have his full heart into this. And TIGE.
But I was invited in Co not just to explore the roots of ethical business in ethos, a Greek word, but mostly to sing the song.
So now I'm going to switch to music. And thank you very much for listening, and I hope you guys sing, because we're about to sing.
The lyrics over the song were co-written by Mike Smith, the head of Business Programs Initiatives of Change UK, Tatiana Sokolova, and myself. The music was my duty, and the goal was to write a song that was easy to be sung by everyone, even with just one guitar. And maybe some help by Lisa on the piano.
We gotta try our best in this crazy wilderness to survive and see us and to sing the unsung songs. We want unity. We want serenity, we want to live a life that's full of honesty. Trust and integrity depends entirely on you. Together we change the global economy. Trust and integrity depends entirely on you. Together we change the global economy.
We want to live a life that's filled with honesty. The trust and integrity depends entirely on you and me. Together we'll change the global economy. Trust and integrity depends entirely on you and me. Together we'll change the global economy.
And it's great to see you back year after year. What has really influenced you or impacted you in these TIGE conferences?
I think we're living in awesome times. I think we're living in times where the challenges now have become so great, financial, social, and environmental, that forums like CO are becoming critically important as to how we decide our future. We may not know our grandchildren or our great-grandchildren, but they will certainly know us from the decisions that we make over the next 10 years. They will certainly know whether to curse us or bless us. I hope it'll be to bless us. And what I like about CO is it actually gets to grips with the nitty-gritty, if you like, of how decisions are made. In the workshop we've just come out of, there were people from South America, Africa, from Central America, from the Far East. So there's a superb cross-section of views, of opinions, and very easy sometimes for us to sit in our ivory towers and have no idea what it's like in other communities and territories. And CO gives us the opportunity to mix and match with people from all over the world.
One of the things that TIGE has been really powerfully helpful for is identifying new ways of doing things, alternative business models, looking at the relationships between different business enterprises around the world and how they're engaging their local communities.
Life in Co doesn't stop when the conferences end. There are always impromptus, such as dancing classes by the kitchen chef himself. TIGE is a vibrant community with as main goal to bring changes that can actually have a lasting impact for the better of everyone. During our 3-day stay here in Co, we have met so many people, all aligned on that same one cause. People of all ages and all backgrounds, from all parts of the world, share the same vision, that of a more fair and just world.
It looks as if those three challenges, the financial, the environmental, and the social, are separate. But they're not separate. They actually derive from a deeper problem, deeper challenge. And that challenge is a crisis in values. And the crisis in values comes from a lack of trust and integrity. So the very piece that we are lacking and need to bridge to complete this second renaissance that we're going through, that piece is to come to terms with an aspect of society today where it's every person for himself, where every corporation for himself, where levels of competition are completely out of control, and where values and morals are thrown out of the window to achieve results. Trust and integrity is the only route that can take us back to a situation where we can start to deal efficiently and effectively with these three major crises.
As Lawrence leaves, we can only reflect on what he and all the speakers have said to us, but also to reflect on our experience here in Co as a whole. Through human interactions, we can create wonders, writes the board. It is exactly that everyone here in Co cherishes. Together we can create wonders, a universal message of peace and collaboration. However, our trip in Co arrives at an end. We are now ready to embark to our voyage back to our countries of origin, returning a bit richer, with the torch of enlightenment burning a little bright.